Hey, shalom, everybody. So I guess this is appropriate that I'm sitting in complete. Well, I'm not in darkness, but my video is. I guess the phone camera is not strong enough to capture what's happening here in my little place. Um, so this video is about what is happening right now with the whole George Floyd and everything. Elohim has been telling me to make this video, so here we go. I'm gonna just preach what he tells me to preach. So, at the garden, Elohim had his tabernacle. The garden was a type of foreshadowing of the tabernacle. Okay. The garden was set up just exactly the way the tabernacle was going to be set up. The point of the garden was that it was perfect provision, perfect protection. All of Elohim's essence and presence was in the garden. We know that the Father watched over. We know that Mashiach walked in the garden, and Mashiach is the tree of life that was in the garden. And the Ruach HaKadosh could be seen, above the waters and through the trees, and everything was perfectly protected, provided for, and covered by Elohim. Sorry, my nose is a little bit stuffy. I don't know why that's happening. I have no idea. So that is where and how Elohim wanted humanity. Okay, humanity wasn't supposed to go out of the protection, out of the garden, out of the holy land that Elohim provided. Okay, he says he has provided a place for us. Okay, that was his kingdom. His kingdom was set up, but humanity strayed away. Now, you have to understand that the biblical cosmology, biblical ontology, the worldview of the Elohim is that everything is cyclical, and there's nothing new under the sun. Just the same way the garden was infringed upon by the enemy. Okay, the bad tree that bore bad fruit. Elohim even told humanity. He told Adam and Hua to avoid that tree. That the tree of the marriage of what is profane and what is holy. Okay, the results that would come from marrying the profane with the holy would result in bad fruit. Okay, there's no actual tree. Okay, try to get that out of your mind. The bad tree that bears bad fruit is what Elohim told humanity to stay away from. Okay? To avoid the intermingling, to avoid marrying what is profane and what is holy. Now, what is profane is what is filthy, what is dirty, what is not of Elohim, and what is holy is the things that are set apart, promised only for him. Okay, promised unto him and to no one else. Remember, his name is zealous, is jealous. Okay, he wants the worship for himself. Okay, talking about Yahweh the Father. Okay, because He's the Most High. He deserves all that worship and praise, and the worship to be only for Him. Excuse me. Okay, so humanity was always supposed to be under His rule. He is a just and righteous and perfect king and ruler. We were always supposed to be Yasharal. Yasharal means eternally governed by the Most High, most authoritative one. The Alaf Lamad, the Alaf and the Lamad, or in the modern Hebrew, the Aleph and the Lamed, is the Al, and it gives us an understanding of a word that means the Most High, most authoritative. The Most High, the Good Shepherd, the most authoritative shepherd. Okay? Yasharal, the kingdom that was and is to come. We were always meant to be part of His kingdom. We were not supposed to be Americans or Egyptians or, think in Scripture he even tells you to leave Babylon, leave Rome, come back to Yasharal, come back to Jerusalem. Think of this, brethren. When the Mashiach comes back, He will set up the final fulfillment. Again, with Hebraic thought, the kingdom was at the garden. The kingdom is in our hearts and the way we live. And it is to come when Jerusalem comes out of the heavens and rests down where Jerusalem is supposed to be, the final fulfillment of the city that we will be entering in through the 12 gates, the gates of the tribes of Yasharal. Okay? When Mashiach comes back and sets up His reign, there will be no more America, there will be no more Libya, there will be no more Protestants, there will be no more Christians. There will be the followers of Yahuwah. There will be the Yahudim. There will be Yasharal, eternally governed by the Aleph Lamed, the Most High, the most authoritative one. Okay? This world will pass away. So all this nationalism, all this racism, all this separatism, all this sectarianism, with skin color and yada, yada, yada. Let me tell you something. In this Hebrew roots movement, in this Nazarene movement, even though this movement has a lot of problems, this movement has a lot of issues, there's still people leaning too far to Judaism. There's people clinging too hard to Christianity. There's people in all kinds of weird offshoots of who knows what. Okay? Even though there's all these problems, let me tell you something that I see in the Hebrew roots movement and in the Nazarene movement and in the Messianic movement that I don't see anywhere else. Okay? When I attend a temple Shabbat with Messianic brethren, there can be Chinese, Korean, African, Egyptian, Arab, Jews, Israelites, Ethiopians. It doesn't matter what nation or nationality or ethnicity anybody is. Everybody is truly in sync with each other in the Nazarene, in the Messianic congregations. Okay? I grew up Christian, and the Christian churches, everybody's happy, happy, joy, joy. But as soon as you get to the parking lot, or, when you serve in ministry, let me tell you something. Let me say this, okay? I attended a Baptist church most of my entire life. And it was a mostly white Baptist church. Okay? my family, my direct family, my grandfather and grandmother, and my two aunts and myself, we were not accepted by the Hispanic community of that church. Though we tried. No, we were never able to be accepted because we were just different. Okay? And then, so we left the Hispanic congregation, and I spent most of my life in the English-speaking American congregation. And the same thing, I was just different. I was always in between. I wasn't, quote unquote Hispanic enough, and I definitely brown and very dark, so I couldn't really fit in too well with, and I wasn't. I don't know. I guess I just didn't look like them. They just never really accepted me, and I spent many years at that church. Let me tell you something else. My first pastoral job, where I first was ordained, was at a Black Baptist church. And this Black Baptist church wanted to become a church, not a Black Baptist church, but a church. Hey, is this thing still recording, babe? I can't see. Babe.
Oh.
Turn around. Is this thing still recording?
I don't know.
Look, please.
Oh, yeah?
Look at the numbers, because I can't see.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Don't worry about how edited.
Okay. So, this Black Baptist church had similar issues, This Black Baptist church wanted to integrate Hispanics. And, though I am a Jew, I was born in Mexico. I was born in the part of Mexico where a lot of Jews are. I've done my DNA test, my ancestry, and I'm very much a Jew, a Sephardic Jew. But I speak fluent Spanish, and I was able to be the lead Spanish pastor. Well, let me tell you something. The Black Baptist Church, though the lead pastor wanted to integrate and become a church for everyone, and he wanted the young people of the Hispanics to join his church, his English-speaking church, while I would have all the older Hispanic non-English speakers in my church. The congregants of the Black Baptist Church, they weren't too happy about it. When I accepted the job, he told me that I was going to be met with resistance from the African American people at that church that didn't necessarily want to change. They didn't want Hispanics walking around their place. They wanted to stay a Black Baptist church. Okay? Those are my experiences as a Christian. Okay? Let me tell you something that happened at my church that I spent most of my life, 30-something years. Let me tell you this. Okay? This is extremely sad. But bear with me till the end of this video, and you'll understand my point at the end of the video. Okay? I'm giving you a lot of context. I attended this church, this Baptist church, in a very white city. Okay? My family, not me, but the family I grew up with, they're very light-skinned. They look European. They're very much Jewish, all of them. They're conversos, as they're called, conversos. My great-grandmother was an Ashkenazi Parisian Jew, and my other great-grandmother was an Italian Ashkenazi Jew, and then great-grandfather was probably just Spaniard, and then my other great-grandfather was just some little indigenous man from Mexico. Anyways, so my family has this like European looking, white kind of look, and my family fit in for the most part at this white church, but I'm dark, and I didn't quite fit in this. I didn't fit in with the Hispanics, and I didn't fit in with the white kids. So, let me tell you something. I started seminary, and word got around, and suddenly they wanted me to start serving in the children's ministry. Okay? Let me tell you, I had been to that church longer than most of the people in that congregation. Okay? All of the elders, the oldest people, I'm talking the oldest of the oldest of the oldest people in that church, had seen me grow up because I grew up with my grandparents, and my grandparents went to the traditional old people service. So all of the old people at that church knew my face, knew my name, but the younger crowd didn't really know me because I didn't hang out with the younger crowd. Okay? So this is disturbing. So they asked me to join the children's ministry, but they didn't want me to serve by myself. They insisted on bringing my wife along, but my wife was not ready. She was not at the proper walk yet at that time. She was still going through a lot of bad things. She wasn't fully there to be serving in ministry with me. Okay? Probably because, the reason they wanted me and my wife is just so I didn't look creepy, just me by myself. Okay? I gotta be honest. I'm sure that the younger white people at that church just saw me as some creepy weirdo just wanting to be around kids or something. Okay? This that I'm gonna say is gonna anger a lot of people. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack from this. It's gonna anger a lot of people, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Okay? So I'm at this church. I've been there longer than the current lead pastor. I've been at that church longer than even the executive pastor. I have seen pastors come and go. I've been there since like the second guy that founded the church. Okay? I literally saw the lead pastor go from youth pastor all the way up to his position. So I was there longer than everybody. And there was these two Hispanic kids serving in the children's ministry. They're Hispanic, okay, but they didn't necessarily look as Hispanic as, or quote unquote, as Hispanic as I do. Okay? One kid, as soon as I met him, he was very effeminate, and I thought, oh my gosh, this effeminate kid shouldn't be serving in this kid's ministry. I don't know, he just seemed weird. Like, why was this effeminate young man wanting to be around kids? Okay? The other gal, a little quirky, nice gal. I'm still friends with her, but she's probably going to get mad at this video if she sees it. Okay? There was this one thing one time something was said about that me and my wife finally brought like a Hispanic, that there were finally some Hispanics in the ministry. And the two other leaders, these two young people, this gal and this guy, but they were Hispanic themselves. And the two white leaders said, yeah, but we mean like real Hispanics. Okay, what's real Hispanic? If the gal and the guy that were already serving in children's ministry, they're Hispanic. This other gal that was serving in the kindergarten ministry, she's Hispanic. So why suddenly me and my wife are real Hispanics? Okay? That's the Christian church. Where white churches act really strange. They almost have like this white guilt that like, oh yeah, You're cool. No, you're okay. No, and we like tacos. What the heck? You know, and with the black church where, yeah, we want you to come in and bring the Hispanics, and we want all the Hispanics money, but we don't really like the Hispanics. And we don't want them here, but we want their money, but we don't want them here. So that's the Christians. Okay? But let me tell you something. When you are part of a group of people that understand Yahshua, that understand the kingdom that was, that is, and is to come, understand that the Most High, He doesn't care about that kind of stuff, that He wants you to be part of His kingdom. And let me tell you something. In Yahshua, in Yerushalayim, there is one Torah. And that Torah is for the Jew, the Israelite, the Egyptian, whoever comes in, whoever wants, like Uriah the Hittite. Come on, a Hittite, the enemy. Or like the Moabite. Was it Ruth? I think it's Ruth the Moabite. Come on, a Moabite and a Hittite. But they were seen as righteous followers of Yahweh. When you choose to follow Yahweh, you are part of Yasharal. When you accept the true one and only Mashiach, which is Yahusha, you act as if you're a member of that kingdom because you're grafted in. You are grafted into a kingdom where there is no color, there is no race, there is only Hebrews, people who have crossed over out of their dying nations, because yes, all of these nations are passing away. You're no longer part of the dying nations. You're part of the eternal nation. You're no longer part of the beast kingdoms of the world. You're part of the kingdom of the Most High that was and is to come. And let me tell you, in the Nazarene movement, in the Nazarene, the Messianic, the Hebrew roots, even in Messianic Judaism, which they're leaning way too far to Judaism, even in those circles, there's no Chinese, there's no nothing. There is a bunch of people that have done the research. There's Native Americans that say, we know that in history, our most ancient of languages come from Hebrew. There's Chinese who know and say, hey, we've done some research. The most ancient Chinese writings have Hebrew. That is the kind of things that we see in Yasharel, the kingdom that was and is to come, the kingdom that is governed by a true and righteous, perfect judge and king. There's no color, there's no race, there's just the children of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But guess what? They're all children of Noah. They're all children of Abraham. And they're all grafted in. They're all grafted in to the Mashiach, which is the Natsar, the true vine. And we are the Nazarene. So brethren, leave the harlots. Leave the harlot denominations. Leave America. You can still live in America and need not be part of America. Just like myself and my wife. We live in America, but we're part of Yasharel. We live in the United States, but we are part of Yasharel, the kingdom that was and is to come, the kingdom when there is no black or white or brown or yellow, where there's only Hebrews, people that have crossed over out of Babylon and come to the true Yerushalayim that we were waiting for, and the true Messiah. Not that Mormon Jesus beast, or not that image of the beast Rome, that fake Jesus. The Mashiach, Yahshua, Yahusha, That is who we love, and we love you.